So we're going to go ahead and start with this. Remember that they already have given you your trial balance, okay? So here you see your trial balance. Mike doesn't want to stay on. You're going to see the trial balance already that's here. You've got $4 in cash.
Woo!
Okay? We've got a really high-end business that we're working with. So here we go. And you've got $10 in accounts receivable, prepaid insurance though, $7.
All right.
Okay? Now, even though it's not a lot of money, remember, what I want you to understand is the concept of what we're doing. So all of that's already brought in. So we have a trial balance, and we do have a balance of $70 on either side. Now, what we're doing this week in this chapter are called our adjustments. So if you go to page 136, 44, notice what it's going to say. The depreciation expense, store equipment for $6. They've already figured out that the expense for the store equipment depreciation is going to be $6, okay? So notice you already have an accumulated depreciation, and notice you have your store equipment at $20, okay? So you have your equipment, and this is what Jose was talking about, where right underneath you're going to see your accumulated depreciation expense. Now don't get confused, because they're saying that, again, the $6 of accumulated depreciation is going to be expense for this month. And you look at your trial balance and you go, it's already there. I don't need to adjust it. Yes, you do, because remember, you're doing it for every month until the devaluation is complete. So what do we have to do? We now come down and we're going to put in what? The fact that we need to have a depreciation expense.
Is that our first transaction?
That's on page 136. And notice, what we're going to put is we're going to put in depreciation expense. But as Jose stated, we need to make sure that what we're doing is we're saying that it is what? Store equipment. So what we're going to do, again, is we're going to put it right here and say depreciation expense. And it's going to say, comma, store equipment. Now remember, you're going to put it in where? In your adjusted column. And remember the rule, debit, right? So you're going to debit this expense. So this is A. For how much? $6. Now we're not done yet. We need to now then, in our adjusted area, because of the rules that we have, we need to then make sure that we've got what? Go back up to accumulated depreciation. We've debited, so now we have to do what? Credit. So A would be here again, and we're going to credit again for how much? $6. So don't get confused because the $6 is already there. Remember, this is the amount that we have decided on that we're going to continue to have as we depreciate the store equipment. Now notice, again, as we stated before, we did not mess with the historical value of the $20. That stays there. All we did was add it onto the accumulated depreciation expense. So that's what we did. We added it there, debited, and then credit it at the right area. Now, the next one that it says is, here we go, the term, insurance expired. And it expired by $3. So let's look, here we go. Prepaid insurance. We have it. So what do we need to add here for our adjustment? The what? Insurance expense. Correct. So it'd be insurance expense that we need to make sure that we debit first. And that's going to be B.
How much? How many was? How much was it?
$3.
$3.
Oops.
And remember, prepaid insurance is money that you have there already. So instead of taking it out of cash, you're going to take it out of prepaid insurance. So this is going to be your B, and you're going to credit the $7 for every, the $3. For every debit, there is a credit. Okay?
Debit. Credit.
Here we have that explanation or that term coming in on hand. We have store supplies on hand. We have $5 on hand. Store supplies. So if we have store supplies of $10 and you only have on hand $5, that's all I've got. Here's where you subtract. This is your on hand. This is your original amount. So we subtract. So how much did we use? $5. Correct? So now what we're going to do on C is we're going to now use what? Supplies, what? Expense.
We credit store supplies, right?
Correct? Because you just taken your inventory. So now you're going to credit your store supplies, and that's what we're going to end up having. Now you guys are lucky, and let me tell you why. Because when I took accounting, we didn't have these kinds of examples. They didn't give us this. You were given the theory and di que te fue bien. Light your candles and start your homework. Anyway.
Get your quill and your ink and get started.
Everything gets started. And I kid you not, we did it on literal journals that we had to do and tear out and turn it in.
They just transferred from the rocks and onto paper.
Yes, we were using rocks before. All right, here we go. Wages owed. What does that mean? Wages owed. Have I paid them yet?
No.
No. So now, but not paid for. They are an expense in the old year. $8. I still have to pay for those. So we now have to have a wages what?
Payable.
Payable. We have a wage expense. But we need to add the wage payable. So what we're going to do first though again is remember you're going to debit your wages payable for, what did it say? $8. And then you're going to then credit your payable, which is what kind of an account? According to that,
Accounts payable.
it's a liability.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a payable, yes. It's an accounts payable, but it is a specific payable, but it is classified as a liability because it's something that you owe still, that you haven't paid, that you're going to pay in the future. Now, guess what? This is an example. This is what we're doing today as daily work. We have finished with our adjustments. So see how there is a debit for every credit, and see how now we've used those terms. Any questions? We're not done. You're like, really? Yes, we're not. Why? Because it says that now we have to go ahead and complete the adjustment data. So now, what we have to do is we have to make sure for every debit there is a credit, correct? So now we have to add each side to ensure that we have balanced, that we put everything in. So how much does everything total up to? How much? $22? Correct. Now again, remember, your adjustments have to balance to indicate that you did do a debit and a credit for each side. And while you're doing your adjustments, make sure that you have credited the correct or debited the correct account. Okay? I had somebody in my online accounting class that they said I'm $500 off because she credited the wrong account. So a lot of fun. All right. So now that we've done our adjustments, now that we've made sure that we do balance and that our accounts are, that our debits and our credits are in the correct accounts, Now, we come in with what we introduced you with this week, which is an adjusted trial balance, okay? We did this, I think, last week as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to begin our adjusted trial balances, okay? So now we're going to take these adjustments, but we also need to make sure that we look at each account and see what we have. So, did we do anything with cash? No. So then that balance comes over. And remember, it comes over on the correct side, either debit or credit. So our cash account comes over to the debited side of the adjusted trial balance. Then accounts receivable. Did we do anything with that? No. So we bring that over. Now, our prepaid insurance, we did do something with that. We paid something out. Notice, we have a debit, we have a credit. So what do we need to do to make sure that we've got the correct balance on this side? Subtract, correct? So you're subtracting the $3 from the $7, giving us a total of $4. Everybody got that? All right, the next one, store supplies. Again, we have a debit and we have a credit. So, we had $10, we have $5 on hand, so we subtract, giving us then a balance of the $5 that we're bringing over, correct? All right, store equipment, did we do anything with that? No, that is a historical value, we bring it over. And we bring it over to the right side, which is to the debit side. Now, accumulated depreciation, hold on here. It's not a debit, it's a credit and a credit. So what are we going to do? You add them together, okay? It's like side. It is a credit and a credit, and remember what we're doing is accumulating. We're increasing the amount of money that we are taking away as far as devaluing the equipment that we've got. So now, the 6 plus the 6 gives us the $12. So now we have the $12 there. Now we show that for 2 months, we have devalued our equipment. Next, we have accounts payable. Did we do anything with that? Absolutely not. So we go ahead and make sure that we put it in. And again, very important to make sure that you bring it over into the right column for its normal balance. The capital, again, remember, capital is the same thing. We never touch it unless it's increased in our financial statement. So we bring that over. That was $6. Withdrawals, he took $3 out. He had
to take little.
He had $1, so he went for a 4 for 4. So he took $4 off, right? $3 out to make that 4 for 4.